Hey everyone, how's it going? So I just want to dive in and do a bit of an example or tutorial, or just showing you some of the ways I use ChatGPT as an educator. Sometimes it's for educational purposes, other times for research, other times for my own personal work. But one of the things I do, obviously, is you got to prompt it or work with chat. So let's actually start a new chat. Now I'm not going to work and put in anything yet, because I want to basically, we have to focus chat, meaning when we ask a question, you want to make sure ChatGPT has an understanding of what you're trying to do. So regardless if you have the plus version or the normal version, you want to make sure that you are basically prompting chat properly. So if you go over here to obviously the website AI Training 101, if you go to the prompt generator, and if you go here and go to the prompt generator, so this is just saying, basically this is, I created this generator, and the idea is that it creates a prompt or a question, a series of questions that you can put into chat, and chat will give you some meaningful insight or information that will focus what you're trying to do. If you're wondering, Matt, what the heck is that? Don't worry, it will make more sense. So here's an example of a prompt that can be created by this generator, and it might seem like jargon to you, but it means something to chat. So that generator, actually, let's just take this prompt. So this prompt itself is connected to answering these 6 questions. And the first one is, what's the content about? We need to understand the content. What's the reason for your questioning, your motive? What do you want to focus on within the content? Can you describe your motive? So how does that work? Is it to learn, to strategize, to analyze, and so on? And obviously, are there any specific things you want from it? And is there anything else you'd want to add in or explain? And those are the 6 questions. If you answer those questions truthfully and with intent, it will give you a generated prompt. So I'm going to copy this example, and I'm going to put this in the ChatGPT, and we'll see what happens. So the whole prompt, this specific one, was focusing on marketing, the 4 P's of marketing, and to create content around that. So you may be like, hey, I want to create a new assignment, or a new maybe I'm building content for a class, and you're like, I have a section on the 4 P's of marketing, and I want a bit of direction or maybe a different insight of a new way to think of it. So for example, if we paste in that prompt, and we would have surmised that we would have gone through and filled in the 6 questions, and it would give you a prompt, which is really just an advanced question. That's all it is. And if you hit start, chat will then go through and start to respond to that prompt. So for me, when I use ChatGPT, I use it, I'm in it almost every day for research, for learning, for us to practice, but also to really think of how can I use it, how might my students use it, and so on. So what we're seeing here is the output of this prompt. So it's sort of amazing, because chat is a natural language model that has a huge data set of information. And basically a prompt is essentially just a question. And the whole idea, though, is if you ask the right question and the right sequencing of questioning, you can get better responses. And you might be thinking, Matt, great, what's a better response? Well, to me, a better response is a response in information that is more in line with what I'm looking to get. And you, for example, say, what is marketing? Well, that is such a broad question. Chat has no idea why you're asking that. And the prompt generator I created is there just to refine and focus chat's intent. So chat has a better idea as to what you're thinking. And that's done by answering those 6 questions. So the prompt was basically focusing chat. And we can go through how to think through a prompt in a different video. But basically, fill out the prompt generator as honest as you can, and then it will give you information. And basically, this prompt has produced content for us. So the first thing chat wrote is, this information is a starting point and must be researched deeper. I actually made chat say that. So when I built the generator and the prompt, I made it structured so that chat knew we had to say that, because ChatGPT should be a starting point. It shouldn't be the end point. It should be a starting point. So then it goes into the 4 P's of marketing, which include product, price, place, and promotion, and are essentially elements in creating. So really, chat's just going and explaining what the 4 P's are, which is great, which would make sense, because we were asking as a customer, what are the 4 P's are, and specifically we wanted to learn more, and based off of what I had chosen in the prompt generator. And obviously, it goes into the topic and so on. But this is just information that chat is giving us to help us learn about the 4 P's. And then chat's designed based off the prompt, the way it's been structured, that it goes into strategize and say, hey, so we want to learn more about strategy. So obviously we want to strategize, and here are some recommendations for creating a list and a chart to help you. So chat didn't create a chart per se, but did create a list. So basically, how do we strategize the concept of the 4 P's of marketing? And it could be to identify your target customer, conduct a competitive analysis, develop a positioning strategy, develop a marketing mix. So what chat has done is given us pretty good direction about the concept of what is marketing, the 4 P's of marketing. And we did it with the intent to learn, but also we want to strategize. And hopefully it gave us a table and some recommendations. And this is all in the same output. And the prompt is designed where it also will give you some key takeaways of everything. So the key takeaways are sort of the focal points of everything that's been said before. And I structured the prompt to do that. And then also the truly valuable point is this. It's basically recommended next questions. So I have it set up so that chat knows to create 5 different questions for you. And the idea is that it will guide you on maybe another direction you may want to go. Because one of the problems you will realize in ChatGPT or any prompting or any AI tool is, what do I ask next? What do I want to do? And part of this prompt, the way it's structured is that it will give you another way to go. Basically, it will give you other questions you can ask. So chat has created a question focused on to learn, a question focused on to problem solve, a question focused on to develop. And these questions are connected to the content that has already been output above here. So for example, we want to learn based off the DNA of this, we wanted to learn more about the 4 P's of marketing. And basically we have some takeaways, some great information. Now we can say, great, well, what else do we want to do? Well, if you want to ask, for example, how can I further understand my target customers' needs and wants? That's a question that will help you to explain the concept to learning more. Or how can I address weaknesses in my competitive analysis? Or how can I develop my positioning strategy that effectively demonstrates my product? So these questions are crafted by ChatGPT that are given to you because they're more in line with a direction you may want to go. So one thing you could do is actually just copy and paste these 5 questions. This is what I do. Is if I want to get more information, let's say, or I'm interested in all of them, I'll just copy and paste these, go copy and then paste them in and then search all of them. And basically chat now will go and take from this existing conversation and its billions of data points and start to answer those questions specific to what you're doing. So we put them in and chat's like, great questions. So here are some recommendations to help answer them. And now to learn, right? To further understand your target customer's needs and wants, you can conduct market research. You can analyze your customer data. You could monitor social media. So those are responses. Doesn't mean they're the right ones. It's information, but they're responses and the idea to solve. So these are questions to focus on problem solving. So if you want to basically to address weaknesses in your competitive analysis, you can conduct more research. Now, you might be like, but I didn't ask to address weaknesses in my competitive analysis. Well, if we go back here to the questions chat gave us, right, to problem solve, the question chat wrote was, as a recommended question, is how can I address weaknesses in my competitive analysis? Well, chat recommended that based off of what it thinks might be relevant to why you're searching the 4 P's of marketing. So if you're like, it doesn't relate to me at all, well, then you could rephrase that question. Let's say maybe it's, how do I address weaknesses in my understanding of my target audience? You could put that question in. But the whole idea that is that these are 5 questions that are structured in such a way that you can now focus and get more information you're looking for. Because think of this as an advanced version of Google. It's not perfect, but basically we're the librarians getting the information for you and not just giving you the books to read, but basically giving you the answers to your questions. And that's sort of what chat is doing. So what chat did based off of the previous prompt we put in, and now with just copy and pasting those 5 questions, so we copy and pasted those 5 questions, chat then answered those 5 questions, and still followed the same sequence from the original question, the original prompt. Because then chat gave us some takeaways, being the takeaways would be conducting market research, refining analysis, identifying unique value propositions. Those were takeaways chat said, and then gave us 5 more recommended questions. And that is pretty awesome. So the next one is, what are the most effective methods for conducting market research, and so on. So the whole idea though is chat is really just a tool. It's a tool where it's a model on a server waiting for a prompt or waiting for a question and waiting for someone to ask it something and to get that information. It's not intuitive. It's not smart. At least at this point, it's still a machine. It's an algorithm, a model doing this. But how to use it? Well, use the prompt generator, put in your specific questions, answer them as honest as you can, and then you can glean information. And hopefully I can dive into, say, hey, well, how can you maybe build a class or a course around this? Or maybe how do you expand a specific topic you may want to refine or improve? I know for me with web design or in my courses, I'll definitely be using chat as for idea generation. So basically saying, hey, my class is about this. My learning outcomes about this class are XYZ. What are some things I can talk about? I'm already talking about this. What else can I talk about? What are ways I can talk and approach this? And really rely on ChatGPT in a way to generate some ideas, some insight, and make it an effective tool. It's an amazing tool at our disposal, and I want to share as faculty, not just as faculty, as anybody, but as faculty specifically, we can do so much with it. It's just not being afraid of it. So use the tools. Hopefully this is removing some of the fear of how this works, but it's an amazing tool that can give us some great insight, and it can obviously be used and abused by us and our students. So hopefully this is just, we're making it less fearful and hopefully just intuitive enough so you can understand how things could work. But yeah, so that's enough for this video and sort of just how you can use ChatGPT to research a little bit, how you can use the prompt generator. And this is the prompt generator that you guys have access to with the website. And obviously you got to register to be a part of it. There's no costs, no fees, but you got to be registered because I want to make sure I'm not aiding students in using this tool. They will get all the access to information they want outside of this website, but this website is specific for just us as faculty and admin within education. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for being a part of the video, and I'm going to create a lot more content for all of us, and hopefully things are good in the classroom, and we can have an idea how this tool works for us and our students. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.